Hello. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, madam.
We'll see how many are. 5 are there. Actually, I was waiting till some more students come, but now the time is up, I think, right? Yeah. 7:34. So let's start the work. Are you all ready? Yes. Yeah, 4 of you. Okay. Now let's start the work. Meanwhile, the others also will join the meeting now. Right. Okay. So now today we are meeting after some time and also with the second topic. Okay. So therefore, I don't invite you all to think back at what we already discussed because already you have the lecture materials as well as the recordings. Today we are going to start the second topic. And I have already sent the lecture material of this topic as well, right? Yeah, I will share the screen. Right. Consonants and vowels. Well, so we are going to discuss, actually speaking, consonants and vowels and production of consonants and vowels comes in when we talk about the linguistics, the components and the levels of linguistic analysis, the first level, phonetics. Okay, then we have phonology where we talk about the combination, meaningful combination of sounds, and then words and sentences, it goes on like that. And this is the very basic level phonetics where we talk about the production now. Okay, I don't want to talk about phonetics at the moment, but I want to link, right? Link what we are going to discuss with what you already know about linguistics, right? So in phonetics, we pay our attention to the physical properties of sounds. Physical properties means the physical characteristics, like how we physically produce the sounds and how the sounds are traveling through air, and also how the listener receives the sounds with the ear and what happens after that up to the point of understanding and interpreting these sounds. Like that, this physical aspect of the sounds we discuss in phonetics. And when we talk about consonants and vowels in this lesson, we pay attention to the production part, which is one branch of phonetics, which is labeled normally as articulatory phonetics. Okay, right, now let's see. Now we are going to talk about, actually I haven't mentioned the areas of discussion. Okay, I will just give me 1 second. Yeah, we will be talking about the production of consonants, vowels, right? And then diphthongs. You can see them. And already you have the lecture material, right? You can refer to that also. Yeah, a detailed discussion of these three types of sounds. And these three types, consonants, vowels, and diphthongs. Okay, they consist of this classification. Now, when we basically talk about the human speech sounds, right? That is the basic level. Human speech sounds, they are the minimal units when we analyze any language. Okay, and we start with the sound level and then only we go up to the other levels with combining sounds and then forming words and combining words and forming sentences, and finally even combining sentences and forming discourses, text, right? So now here at the moment, now I think at the very first date I introduced the nature of this module. Here we are going to pay our attention to almost all these levels of linguistic analysis. And now we are going to start the first level in the second topic, that is on sounds, the production part of sounds. All right. Well, then let's start the work. Okay, we'll start with consonants then. Okay, so you must have definitely some idea about this classification. Okay, now before I all of a sudden talk about the production of consonants, just what do you know about the classification? Like how many human speech sounds are there? And how can we classify these sounds like that? Do you have any sort of background knowledge or kind of understanding regarding human speech sounds? Actually, I emphasize the term human speech sounds because we are in these lessons, we are dealing with sounds produced by the human beings for the purpose of producing words or sentences, right? For the purpose of communicating via words or sentences. So that is why speech. So always I mean human speech sounds. Okay, otherwise if we just use the word sound, that is quite a loose term because the word sound can be referred to any sound, even a sound in the environment or any sound made by an animal also. No, right? Human speak sound. So do you have any idea about human speech sounds, either classification or characteristics or particular numbers like that? Anything? Yeah. At the very start, I am asking this question from you before I start the discussion. Because all of a sudden, I don't want to talk about what are consonants and how we can classify like that, right? I just want to clear the start. That's why I'm asking these questions. Any idea? Oh, this sort of discussion is totally new to you. What about that? Totally new. I appreciate if somebody can talk. Yeah, all can talk, no problem. Yeah. I don't know whether you have had a chance to talk about to cover this area in any other module. That is why I'm asking. Yeah. Sadhanani. No? Are you listening? Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Any idea about the human speech sounds, or is this area totally new to you? Just give me very brief idea so that I can go ahead according to your level or your requirement. Yeah. And this is the beginning of new lesson, so it's good if I know something about what you have already done or if whatever you know about this. Yes, Yoganandi, right? Yoganandi. I'm sorry, I don't
Yes,
know.
madam. We learned it in college, training college.
Ah, training college, right, right.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, up to what extent? You have roughly studied or in detail? Phonetics and phonology area?
All.
All the 5 levels.
Yes.
Ah, right. Okay. Now, what about the others? Yeah. So that is according to your experience. Now, what about the others? Yeah. Now, how about this program? In this program, I just want to know, most importantly about this program, whether you have uh, had a touch on these areas with another module in this
No,
course.
no, madam.
No. All right. Okay. So, what are your general understandings about this area? Like, okay, very simply, if I ask this question, how many sounds are there? Like, how many human speech sounds are there? Roughly? Roughly, I don't want exact numbers. Gayani, do you have any idea about the number?
No, madam.
You don't like to guess? And the others? Okay, right. Well, then
44 sounds.
yeah. I was thinking of you, right? To coming back to you, because now if you have studied these things, definitely you know something. Okay, right? You got Nandini, I think you have some sort of understanding, but what about the other silent cases? They are not speaking, no? Very difficult to get a word. No? Right now, just feel free, right? In this lesson, don't think that you are going to learn some big thing which you have never ever learned and which is very difficult to catch. Nothing like that, right? Because we people are using language orally, rather than writing. Whenever we want to communicate something, we just speak. And we do it automatically, right? We never ever plan what we are going to say now, in the sense now, what sort of sounds are we going to produce, and how should we use our tongue now, and how should I use my two lips? We don't plan these things. They happen automatically. But the thing is, in phonetics and phonology, we pay our conscious attention. We pay our attention to this natural mechanism, and we try to understand this mechanism, how it happens. That's all. Other than that, oh, you and I and all are involved in these things. We do these things. Okay, so we use sounds, human speech sounds, whenever we want to say something orally using any language. But here in this lesson, I will be using examples mostly from the English language. Okay, but we can analyze the human speech sounds used in any language, and we can talk about the properties and characteristics used in characteristics of human speech sounds used in any language, not only being limited to the English language only, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, so I will now move on to the main discussion. I just wanted to know how far you know about these things and what sort of memory you have. But unfortunately, most of you do not share your ideas. Never mind. Uh, well, okay, let's start with the consonants then. So, uh, tell you something basic about the classification, right? We can classify these human speech sounds basically into three types. Okay, but when you are reading some books or sites or any article written about this, or maybe some research papers, you will find different numbers, different classifications. Always I refer to the general classification. Okay, so we can classify all the human speech sounds mainly into three types. One is this consonants. Okay, consonant, and another category is, as you can see in this lesson, vowels, and we call them there are two types of vowels, right? One type is monophthong, or we can call them pure vowels, and then the third category is the diphthong. Diphthong is a type of vowels, but we classify it as another category, right? Well, so these are the three main categories, and yet there's another one, semi-vowels. Usually in the classification, we put semi-vowels under the consonant category, but semi-vowels have different characteristics, actually characteristics of both vowels and consonants. Anyway, mainly we have these three types: consonants, monophthongs, and diphthongs, right? And these are the three we are going to discuss in this lesson, paying attention to the production part. All right. Well, then we are going to start with the consonant sounds. Yeah. Here also you have a short introduction to the sounds and the importance of paying attention to the sounds. Yeah. Speech is a phonetic continuum, right? A continuous, smoothly flowing set of movements, and not a set of discrete and isolated movements. Discrete and isolated, separate. Okay, speech is not something which consists of separate elements. Okay, although we can separately identify sounds, like sounds like p, k, b, a, as separate units when we talk about natural speech. Now I'm talking, right? You can't break my speech into separate sounds. No need also, not necessary. Speech is usually considered to be like continuous set of expressions. Okay, right? Smoothly flowing set of movements, not separate or discrete or even isolated movements. And it's convenient, however, to segment the speech chain into syllables and to divide these in turn into consonants and vowels. Yeah, it's convenient to identify this continuous flow of utterances into parts like syllables basically, and then uh, separate sounds like consonants and vowels for the purpose of teaching and understanding and learning. Okay, right. Now you have some sort of understanding regarding syllable. Syllable is also a speech unit just like consonant and vowel, but syllable is something bigger than separate sound. Okay, for example, now consonant, here you have the word syllable, so be clear with the word when you proceed with this note. Now, this is a vowel sound, right? I'm writing sounds here using the phonetic symbols, and this is a consonant sound. Right. And this is another vowel sound A. All right. And this is a consonant sound. And this is a vowel sound. Likewise, etc. There are so many vowels and consonants. And then, what do you mean by syllable? Syllable is also a sound unit like this, but it is bigger than an individual sound. Because in a syllable, you can find sometimes there are syllables with a single vowel sound, right? Single sound. And most of the time, syllables contain more than one sound. The most important characteristic of a syllable is that there is a vowel. Okay, there's a vowel compulsorily, vowel sound inside the syllable. So it is a sort of speech unit. Syllable is a speech unit where there is compulsorily a vowel, and there can or cannot be consonants. There can be consonants, either one consonant or more than one consonant in either side, or even without any consonant, just the single vowel can form a syllable. That's the idea here given in the note. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, just for you to understand the nature of a syllable, the words like, yeah. Okay, you tell me how many syllables are there in this word. Here I am using normal spellings. This is the written form pen. Okay, pen. Not in the phonetic script, okay? But still you can understand the word pen. How many syllables are there? You just try to apply this theory there. How many?
1, madam.
Yes, correct. There's only one syllable because only one vowel you can find, right? A. A is only one vowel and there are two consonants. CVC structure. Okay. And what about this word then? My writing may not be that beautiful, okay, like this. But hope you can find the word. Yeah, M-O-R-E, more. More is the word. Well, how many syllables are there?
1, madam.
Again, one, correct. And this time you have different syllabic structure, okay? You have one vowel, correct? More, O. O is the vowel. And you have consonant at the beginning, M. Actually, you are not pronouncing the latter part, no? You don't say more. So, okay, that would be possible if you are more to Indian English or something. But here we say more. So then CV structure. Okay, like that syllable can have different structures. Here I have put only 2 structures. And both words are monosyllabic words. Monosyllabic means only one syllable is there. Right. Now, what do you think about a word like this? I'm writing words everywhere. Hope you all can see clearly in your screen, right? The words I'm writing. How many syllables are there? Happy is the word.
2, madam.
Yes, correct. Ha and P. Here you have one vowel and consonant, and the second syllable also consonant and vowel. Actually, I didn't write these words in phonetics. Using phonetic symbols, if I wrote these words, definitely you can find out clearly the syllables. But when we write the words in normal spellings, you need to pronounce them in your mind and find out the sounds, whether they are vowels or consonants or like how many, like that. You have to do it in your mind, then find out the number of syllables. Okay, I now hope you got some idea regarding what syllable is. Right, now we'll come back to our discussion. So anyway, you go through all these lines, right? Sometimes I do not read all the lines in the note, but I give you the explanation. Sometimes the things that are not mentioned in the note also. So if you have the hard copies of the note, I'm always telling this, you can add whatever you like so that later on when you read the note, you would understand in a more clear manner, right? Okay. Then, what did we say then? Yeah, we were talking about speech, the nature of speech. So we say speech is flowing at a stretch. Okay, it's a continuous process, continuous stream of utterances, speech. But for the easiness of teaching and understanding of the nature of speech, we are breaking this continuous stream into parts. And these parts can be the syllables or can be just the single sounds. And in phonetics, you have a particular name for these single sounds as phonemes. Okay, this is the word phoneme. Phoneme is a human speech sound, right? Yeah. In phonology, we use these terms, phoneme, allophone, phone, right? All these terms are usually used in phonology area. Okay, and phoneme is nothing but the human speech sound. Okay, so for the easiness of understanding the nature of speech, usually we need to break this continuous speech into separate parts, separate segments like syllables or phonemes. Okay, so when we do that, we identify consonants because consonant is one such type of phoneme. And also vowel, even diphthong, these are different types of or different kinds of phonemes that are combined together to form syllables as well as to form words. Then we combine words together and form sentences and we speak. Right, this is the structure which we can naturally see in continuous speeches. Right. Now, when we particularly talk about consonants, yeah, while vowels tend to continue the airstream, consonants tend to break it. Means this line gives you an idea about the difference, major difference between the production of consonants and vowels, right? Okay, you need to pay attention to this last part. Yeah, we are going to start our discussion with the consonants here because compared to the vowel sounds, understanding consonants is a bit easy. Okay, you will understand why I am telling so once we start the discussion on vowels. Compared to the vowels, we can easily understand how we produce each and every consonant. So therefore, we will choose consonant discussion first. Okay, right. That's the idea given here. Now we come to classification of consonants. Now, classification means we are not going to classify the consonant sounds. It will come later, bit later. Here, you can see classification of consonants according to phonetic features, right? But before we go into the classification, this starting sentence is very important to discuss first so that you can get a very clear understanding regarding how we produce a consonant and how consonant differs from a vowel sound production. Consonant is defined as a speech sound which is articulated with some kind of, this is the place, stricture or closure of the air stream. This is the important part, right? Okay, now I will give you two sounds, right? I'll give you two sounds. You don't have to switch on your mics, right? You can still keep the mic mute, but loudly pronounce these two sounds one after the other, right? Separately, not immediately after the other one. Right. I will give you very simple consonant. Right. You know this consonant now? This is the phonetic symbol of the consonant sound P. Okay. Right. And this is the other sound. Okay. I'll make it R. Right. Dragging. Tense vowel. Now this is a vowel sound. R. Right. P and R. One consonant, one vowel. Well, now you pronounce these two sounds separately and tell me, as you can understand, the difference between the production of these two sounds. Right? You are not using the same speech organs to produce both sounds. That is right. And you can think about the speech organs, and at the same time, you need to pay attention to the airstream, right? Okay, let me tell you about that also. Okay, airstream. Airstream means we produce any sound, any human speech sound with the support of an airstream. That is quitting our lungs and comes up and enters the oral cavity, right? And that is actually exhaled air. You know, we are breathing to live. If we do not breathe, we will die, you know, right? We inhale and exhale air. So that's the respiratory system. Right, that's the basic thing, basic system that runs in our body, you know. Okay, so rather than the respiration purpose, okay, rather than inhaling and exhaling here for the purpose of living, there is another secondary function. Other than that main function, right, we have a secondary function of this breathing, respiration. Breathing means inhaling and exhaling air. Can you guess what that secondary function is? What is that? Main function is we breathe to live. Okay. Other than that, I'm not talking about that biological function. That's the primary function. What is the secondary? Now, what is the next use of breathing? Why should we breathe other than to live? Right? Why? Any idea? You are breathing only to live, right? Other than that, you don't use your respiratory system or your breathing mechanism to do anything else. Is that so? Yoganandi. I think I'm correct in pronouncing your name, right? Do you have any idea? No. We breathe other than to live, okay, to speak. That is a secondary function to produce sounds. Right, okay. Now you skip the first question and this is my second question. Now I answered to my first question. My second question, we inhale and exhale air, no? Right? And I told you secondary function of this breathing is to speak. Yeah. So do we speak with inhaled air or exhaled air? Two options. Inhaled air when we breathe in, exhaled air when we breathe out. So we speak means we produce sounds using which air stream? Inhaled air stream or exhaled air stream?
Exhaled air stream, madam.
Exactly, right? Gaini? Yes. We produce sounds with our exhaled air stream, which means when we breathe out only, we produce sounds. We talk, we speak. Have you ever tried to speak while you inhale air? I don't think that's possible, right? That is not biologically possible. We can't do it. So this air stream which goes out of our lungs is called exhaled air, right? And it comes out of the lungs and it comes up, it passes through our larynx, which means via the throat, and it enters the oral cavity, right? And after it enters the oral cavity, what happens? There may be a lot of things happening there, and finally it goes out of the body, mostly through the mouth, sometimes through nose also. We'll talk about it later, right? Mostly it goes out of the body through the mouth, right? Now this is what happens to the airstream, and without airstream, we know we can't produce any sound. Okay, now please answer to my question. Here I have given two sounds to you, per and ah, and tell me the difference or differences you can feel or experience when you produce these two sounds separately. Actually, not only Gayani, I expect the others also to speak, because you can't learn phonetics or even talk about consonants, vowels, or diphthongs or anything without actively participating in the discussion. Right? You need to wide open your mouths and produce these sounds. Then only you will feel and you will recognize what the sounds are. You can't do it only by listening to me or watching me. Okay, you have to feel it yourself and then share your experience. If you believe that both sounds you produce the same way, right, don't hesitate to say it. That is your observation now. I want you to talk. Oh, yeah, what are the differences? Are there differences? If yes, what? If no, then say no. Per and are. Yes.
Different sounds, ma'am.
Yes, there are differences. And what sort of
We
difference?
closed our mouth and per.
Yeah.
Next, open.
Sorry, I don't think I heard. It's not clear. Yeah, you can talk about what you feel about the differences. Yeah, there are differences, right? We can't say no. Yes, there are differences, and you need to find out what are these differences. Yeah, Yoganandi, would you like to continue with your idea?
Yes, madam. We are pronounce the word per. We closed our mouth and opened it. Per.
Yes.
Is I don't know how to say.
We don't do that, right? We don't close our lips and open when we say ah, right? That's what you are going to say.
Yes.
Ah, right. Okay, so good observation. And at the same time, just think what happens to your airstream. All of you, right? what happens now? You don't see your airstream, right? And even you don't feel. When we are talking, we don't feel that our airstream is flowing through our body. No, but we know, no. We know without the airstream, we can't talk. Right now, we can talk like this because there is this airstream which is continuously flowing through our vocal tract. And what does happen to this airstream when you separately produce per and r inside the mouth? Inside the mouth. You can say the two sounds, otherwise you can't catch the difference. Is there anybody who would like to share the idea? Any other student? At the beginning also, I told you just feel free because I don't want you to be coming up with perfect answers, right? No, you just casually talk here. No.
To produce our sound, we have to open our mouth
Yeah.
widely.
Hmm.
But to produce per sounds, it's something like exploding
Exploding. What do you mean by exploding, Aini?
with our lips.
Uh-huh. Yeah, both lips. Okay, right. And what do you think about the airstream? What kind of thing
It
is happening? Yeah.
it breaks up.
Yes.
It is not straight away.
Per or ah.
But
Yeah, just then ah
it's going through straightly.
straightly. Okay, fine. Let's ask from any other person also. Any other observation? I don't know whether the others are available here. Right? Because I don't hear any response from the others. Yoganandi, would you like to add any idea about the airstream? No.
I have
Oh,
idea, madam, but I don't know how to say it.
you just try. In English anyway. Okay? You just try. You don't have enough words, you mean? Huh? Okay, right. Now it's like this. When we produce per, now what you said, everything you said is correct, right? Gayani and Yoganandi. Now I just polish up your observation here. When we produce per, yeah, we use our both lips, upper lip and the lower lip. And what does happen inside our vocal tract? Now this airstream, always pay attention to the airstream, right? Always think what happens to the airstream and what happens to it at the beginning and at the end of the sound production process. Now, airstream enters the oral tract and then it flows through the mouth and it comes up to the lips. And when it comes up to the lips, there is this block made by upper lip and the lower lip because we are closing both lips. But we are tightly closing both lips so that airstream is what? Stuck. Airstream is blocked or disturbed. And are we forever closing our lips? No, no. When we want to say per, we first close tightly both lips and then release. Per. Then this blocked airstream is released quickly. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And that is how we say per. Well, then when we talk about ah is one vowel sound, right? Just imagine what happens to the airstream. It enters the mouth and it flows through the mouth freely. And finally, it goes out of the body through the mouth also freely. You don't have any blocking. You are not doing any blocking or you are not disturbing to the airstream at any place inside the mouth. It flows very freely. I think you have that observation also. And that is the main difference between consonants and vowels. Now here you have only one consonant and one vowel sound, but still by using these two examples, I hope you can clearly understand the main difference. Whatever vowel, the vowel or consonant, you can see this feature, right? If you are producing any consonant sound, not only per, it can be k, ch, j, s, l, f, v, th, the, etc. Any consonant, you block the airstream at any place. Regarding per, you block it at the lips now. But now when you just think about k, this consonant k, where does this block take place? K, somewhere back, right? We actually touch back of the tongue with the soft palate, k, k, and there we block the airstream. But we are not blocking it continuously, right? We first touch both speech organs, then release. So the airstream can pass through, k. Right. And even when you say sir, there's not 100% blocking, but still some sort of blocking is there. Sir, f, right? Some sort of blocking is there. But when you talk about any vowel sound, this quality is not available. No blocking, nothing at all. No closure, no stricture. That's the idea given in the first line, right? When you talk about vowels, now here I have given a, but still you can think about vowels like a, e, o, u, both long and short vowels, right? In all these situations, we never block the airstream. It flows very freely. So now I think you can understand this first line. Consonant is defined as a speech sound which is articulated with some kind of stricture, closure, or closure of the airstream. So for us to produce any consonant, we block the airstream. There is a stricture, closure, blocking, disturbance. Any word is okay, right? To talk about that. This blocking done to the airstream. Now we are talking about consonants here. So let's talk about the vowel sound, what happens to the airstream later, right? And I presented these two sounds for you to understand the difference. How consonant production differs from vowel production. Now let's come back to the consonant sound discussion, right? Yeah. Now when we talk about production of a consonant, these four phonetic features are there. Now just imagine I give you a consonant sound. Again, just think about per, right? I give you this consonant sound and I ask you to discuss or explain the production of this sound. Now you can't simply say, you close your lips and then open. That is only one characteristic, one incident. But other than that, there's a lot for you to talk about the production of per or k or any consonant sound. So we use these four features usually to talk about or to discuss about the production of any consonant. The main ideas are given in red color here. State of the glottis, that's one. And state of the velum, number two. Number three, place of articulation. And number four, manner of articulation. Right? So you need to be clear. Let's see whether we have now. Okay, very briefly, I will explain these four. Right? State of the glottis. Now, glottis is something which you have inside your larynx. And what is larynx now? Larynx is a particular organ which is located somewhere here inside our throat. Now, we don't call larynx throat because throat is the normal casual word no, in English vocabulary. But in phonetic terms, using phonetic terms, we use the word larynx. And larynx contains these so-called vocal cords. You know about vocal cords, right? In Sinhala, we use the word swaratantra. Now, what does happen to these vocal cords when we are talking? Do you have any idea? Now, all of you have vocal cords, although you don't see or feel them. And when we are talking, what do you think is happening to these vocal cords? Have any idea? Yeah. These vocal cords are moving. Actually, rather than saying moving, the most suitable word is vibrating. We say these vocal cords are vibrating when we are talking. And sometimes these vocal cords are vibrating at a higher rate, and some other times these vocal cords are vibrating at a slower rate. Okay, right? And there's a reason why it happens so, because inside the larynx, now these vocal cords are located like this. I will roughly draw it here, okay? Very roughly. These are cartilages, right? Arytenoid cartilages that are, now this is a structure of the larynx. And you can see these two cartilages are, okay, we'll see like this, very close. They are like tightly touched, and vocal cord, these are the vocal cords, right? These are the vocal cords. Now, according to this position, the vocal cords are tightly touched, and you don't find any space here in the middle. And the airstream is coming here from the lungs up. You know, airstream is produced inside the lungs and it comes up, and larynx is the first speech organ it meets. So the airstream has to pass the larynx to come up to the mouth. And in that journey, now here the airstream meets the larynx, and problem is there's no space in between the vocal cords for the airstream to enter. So do you think the airstream will return, go back to the lungs? No, it enters the larynx somehow, although there is no space, right? It enters, and because of that incident, there is a sort of pressure created, right? Here. Air pressure is created, because now you can simply understand if you try to pass through a place where there is not much enough space for you to enter, then you have to make or create a kind of pressure, right? Because of this pressure, there is a space created, and via that space, airstream is passing through the larynx. And as a result of that, now there's a pressure. As a result of that, these vocal cords are vibrating, right? These vocal cords are vibrating. And the airstream is passing through the larynx and goes out of the larynx and enters the mouth, vocal tract. Okay, so this is one position, and there's another position. I will draw it here. Okay, right. Now in this position, you can find these arytenoid cartilages are drawn apart, which means there is space, and vocal cords are like this. They are not like tightly touching each other. Okay, there is this space, and airstream is coming in this way, and there is the space there, so no problem. Airstream very freely enters the larynx, goes through the larynx, goes out of the larynx also. Now, there's no need of having air pressure, because already the space is there. And therefore, the vocal cord vibration is not happening a lot, right? The vocal cords are not very much vibrating. There is slight vibration. Now, you know, all the time when you are talking, our vocal cords are vibrating. You can feel it with your hand, right? Whenever you talk, you just touch your throat. You just touch your throat. You can feel a vibration there all the time. All the time when we are speaking. That is unavoidable. But the thing is, when we produce some consonant sounds, we feel high vibration. And when we produce some other consonants, we still feel a vibration, but still it's not as high as other situations, less vibration, right? So now with the second position, no vibration or almost no vibration, right? Okay. So we say then in the first situation, we produce voiced consonants. Voiced. Because the vocal cords are vibrating and we are voicing the sound. Right? You have the word here. And in the second situation, we produce voiceless sounds, voiceless consonants, because no vibration, no air pressure, right? And we do not voice the sound a lot. So this the consonant is called voiceless consonants. And what about this glottis? Okay, I didn't introduce the word glottis to you. Glottis is this space. We call this space glottis. Right? And so in the first situation, we say glottis is closed, which means there's no space. The glottis is closed, and the second situation, glottis is open because there is a space. Right? Okay. So state of the glottis means whether it is open or closed. And when we produce sounds in with a closed glottis situation, we produce voiced consonants. And when we produce consonants in with open glottis, we produce voiceless consonants. Right? Okay. Now you have another small question. Again, I'm giving you per. And the other one ber. Now you tell me which consonant is voiceless and which consonant is voiced. You can separately pronounce the both consonants and identify which consonant produces high vibration. Right? Yes. Any idea? Voiced and voiceless. What is the voiced consonant and what is the voiceless consonant?
Per is a voiceless. K is a voiced.
Ber.
K.
No. Actually, I was asking about these two consonants. These two. Wait. Per and ber. These two.
Per is a voiceless. Ber is a
Yes,
voice.
correct. I put this symbol for voiceless consonants, V minus, and V plus means voiced consonant. Yeah, you are correct. Per is voiceless and ber is voiced. Right? So when you explain the production of any consonant sound, this is one criterion you need to think of. State of the glottis, whether it is a voiced consonant or a voiceless consonant. Right? Now we have 22 consonants altogether. After this, we have the list, right? I'm going to introduce the consonants to you. Total number of consonants is 22. And within this 22, we have some voiced consonants and some voiceless consonants. Okay, so once I introduce the list to you, you can find out which are voiced and which are voiceless. But for the moment, I hope you got the idea, right? What do you mean by state of the glottis? Right. And then we have another criterion that is regarding the production of nasal consonants and oral consonants. Nasal or oral, these are again two types of consonants, right? Okay, and that is decided by the particular speech organ called velum. Velum, or there's another name for that, soft palate. Soft palate. Right now, I think I have to go back. All these things will be erased, right? I'm going to discard my drawings because I want to close the, I want to end the show. Is it all right? Yeah, because I want to go down to, right, this one. Well, you can see this diagram. I'm going to talk about this second criterion. the function of the velum. Now, this is the velum. You can see the soft palate or the velum there, right here. The velum is actually this area, right? Don't mistake it for uvula. Uvula is this hanging part, the thing which is dangly thing. Now, when you go in front of a mirror and wide open your mouth, you definitely will see uvula. Otherwise, you can't see it. Normally, when we are talking, we can't see, in the sense, we can't see the uvula of the other person unless he opens his mouth a lot. Okay, now uvula is there, but velum is the particular area before uvula, right? Right. Okay. Now, when we are producing sounds, especially we are talking about consonants now, no? Right? When you are producing consonant sounds, this air stream is coming here. Okay, now here you have the larynx, right? It passes through the larynx. It comes up, right? Travels through all this area, and here, when the airstream comes here, now you can see the airstream can have two tracks open, right? Two tracks open. One track is oral cavity. See this. If the airstream enters the oral cavity, it will flow through the oral cavity, go out of the mouth. If it enters the nasal cavity, it will flow through the nasal cavity and go out of the body through nose. Okay, now what does decide which cavity the airstream should enter? What is the deciding factor? Deciding factor is this velum. Now, according to this picture, you can see the velum is a bit lowered, right? Velum is a bit lowered. And because of that, there is a space created, right? There is this space created, this opening to the nasal cavity. So the airstream enters the nasal cavity via this space, flows through the nasal cavity, goes out through the nose. And we produce nasal sounds here. Whatever the sound, when the airstream passes through the nasal cavity, right? Whatever the sound we produced in this situation is called nasal sound. And the consonants that are produced when the airstream passes through the oral cavity and goes out of the body through mouth is called oral sound. Okay, right. Now, this is one situation where nasals are produced, and as you think, there are several different nasal sounds. By origin, there are 4 nasal sounds, right? I will write them here. None. I am writing the phonetic symbols. Okay. And this one, ma. Would you like to add to the list? I have written 2 sounds. Right, and there's another one, ng. Right, now this symbol is quite new, right? Be familiar. Ng. We are going to meet this symbol in the list, consonant list. And there's another nasal consonant which is familiar to us actually in Sri Lankan context. This one. Can you identify the sound? This is the symbol, phonetic symbol. What is the sound? Any idea? This is nya. Nya. How cats are talking in Sinhala. It's meow sound. Yeah. Na, ma, nga, nya. These are the 4 nasal sounds by origin. By origin, we can't produce these nasals by closing our nose. If we block the nasal cavity, we can't produce these sounds. Okay. And other than these 4, all the sounds are oral sounds. So then how do we produce oral sounds? The velum, the function of the velum is important again. Okay, let me erase. How do you think the velum is going to be there? Right? When we produce oral sounds. Yeah. This velum, now according to this picture, it is lower But some other situations, like some other times, it is raised. It is raised like this, as how I draw it. Okay. So when the velum is raised, you can see the opening to the nasal cavity is blocked. There is no more space. No space. And as a result, what will happen? The air stream cannot enter the nasal cavity. It will enter only the oral cavity and going out of the body through mouth only, right? So producing oral sounds. So velum is very important in deciding. So I will go back to the previous slide. Okay. I was talking about the second criterion in describing consonants. Yeah. State of the velum. Right? State of the glottis is one criterion and state of the velum is the second criterion that decides whether a consonant sound is going to be oral sound or a nasal sound. Okay, right. And the third criterion, place of articulation. So we are going to talk about place of an articulation and manner of articulation in detail. Okay, separately in this lesson. But here I will briefly introduce place of articulation, the particular place or location where the stricture or place of maximum interference occurs and what articulators are involved, right? That means in simple terms, we identify place of articulation as the particular place inside the mouth where we block the airstream. Now, talking about per sound, we block the airstream at the lips. So the place of articulation is lips or in phonetic terms, bilabial. Right? Bilabial. And when you talk about ka, that's different. Ka, the other consonant, ka, there also we block the airstream, but not at the lips. There the place of articulation is different. That is called velum. Right? Oh, this blocking takes place at the velum, a soft palate. Ka. Like that, place of articulation gives us an idea regarding the particular place where we block the airstream. And then number 4, manner of articulation, right? There we talk about how do we block the airstream? The amount of stricture, whether it is complete, partial, or relatively open. There are 3 main types of blocking the airstream, right? Now, always we do not block completely, right? Now, regarding per, cur, we can see fully blocks, right? And we are fully blocking the airstream. When we say cur, per, bur, ma in these situations. But in producing some other consonants, we partially block it. Like these 2 speech organs are not contacting each other 100%. They are not tightly touched. Like s, v, okay, etc. And sometimes relatively open. So we are going to talk about manner of articulation in detail, just like the place of articulation. Here, briefly, that's the idea. Okay, how we block the airstream. Because there are several ways of blocking available, we can see. Right? Well, then these are the 4 features which you need to know. Talking about the phonetic features, talking about how we produce and where we produce consonants inside the vocal tract. Okay, so you have to definitely use these 4 phonetic features whenever you are required to explain the production of any consonant sound. Right. Okay, now let's move on to the list of the consonant sounds. Here, now could you all please check your notes? Now, I don't know how many students are actively working in the lecture now, right? Anyway, Gayani, do you have the note?
Yes, madam.
All right, could you please check it, will you? Whether I have given the full list here? All the 22 consonants and 2 semivowels? this list? Is it available?
Yes, madam, it is there.
Ah, right. Okay, then I will show everything. Because they come one by one. I wanted to make sure whether you have all the sounds together. Okay, right. Now these are the consonants. Actually, here you have 22 consonants up to this point, right? Up to this point, you have the 22. And these additional two sounds are there. Actually, they are not consonants. They are semi-vowels. They are called semi-vowels. And semi-vowels are a bit different from consonants because they have the characteristics of both vowels and consonants, right? We'll see how semi-vowels, right? And now in this list, you need to be clear with several things, right? One thing is you need to identify the sounds. Number one, identify, which means be familiar with the sound. And number two, you need to be familiar with the phonetic symbol. In this red color, I have given the phonetic symbol for each and every consonant sound listed out here. Be familiar with the symbols, right? You don't have to go up to the extent of transcribing. I don't think, yeah, you don't have to think of transcriptions, phonetic transcriptions, but still as the students who are like learning, studying linguistics, you should have considerable knowledge of phonetics, which means along with phonetics, you should be able to know phonetic symbols and use phonetic symbols whenever required, right? For that, you have to remember these consonants, phonetic symbols of the consonants. Here you have 22 consonants then. Now from this list, see whether you are familiar with the sounds first. I think sounds are clear because I have given them in some words, with the words. And I have underlined the particular place of the word where you can get that sound. Can easily locate the sound, right? This is not a big issue, but somewhat challenging task will be to identify the symbol and remember it. Okay, what are the unfamiliar symbols? Unfamiliar because most of the phonetic symbols of the consonant sounds are like similar to the relevant letter. Now, for example, per, look at per. This is the sound per, and this is the letter P. Sound per, the symbol for the sound per is similar to the letter P. So, it's not big issue, right? Most of the phonetic symbols are like that. Per, b, k, g, t, d, f, v, m, n, except for this. Okay, I will circle the new. New symbols means the symbols that are not similar to the letters, right? Okay. Nga, and this is the symbol for th, like thin, th. And this symbol represents the sound the, like this and that and they, right? And then we have s, z, and here comes another one, sh. This is sh, and this is j, like pleasure, measure, j sound. And then l, r, h. This sound is ch, like chin, church. And the last sound, j, like judge, jug. Okay, j, right. Don't think that I have circled the most important consonants. No, all the 22 consonants are equally important, but for your easiness to find out the unfamiliar symbols, the symbols that do not tally with the letters, for that only I circle them, right? Okay. We'll talk about the two semivowels bit later. Now, earlier in the list is, I have to, I don't want to go back to the previous slide because then all these things will be like again reversing. Now you all have the note with you now, right? Identify the voiced and voiceless consonants. Now you have the full list with you up to 22, right? Up to this sound. Identify which consonant is voiced, which consonant is voiceless. If you have a hard copy of the note, you just write down V minus and V plus symbols. V minus means voiceless and V plus means voiced, rather than writing all the words, okay? Or even if you do not have a hard copy, it doesn't matter. Just take a sheet of paper and write down the symbol and the phonetic symbol for a particular consonant sound, and then whether it's V plus or V minus. Okay, that will be something required, because you have to have a very clear understanding regarding how the consonants are voiced, which consonants are voiced and which are voiceless. All right. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes to do that. It's 20:45. Let's see how many. All right, 4 students are there. Anyway, right, just take this as a practice. Do this. Okay, let's have around 5-7 minutes. Normally I'm giving that range of time. 5-7 minutes will be enough. Okay, right, do this now. Okay. So what's happening? Have you identified the voiced and voiceless sounds? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. Now, Gayani, I think you're also there. And I don't know about the other two, Shani and Shashi, right? I don't know. Anyway, you just tell me now, and I will mark here, right? Yeah. I'll go to a different color. Yeah, until you start. First one.
Voiceless.
Yeah, earlier we made that point. I will just write plus or minus, okay? Not the letter V, either plus or minus, and B plus
Voice.
voiced. And then now, okay, before we do this work, you just pay attention to the pairs of consonants, right? Pair. Perb, kurg, turd, furv. But mernanga, there's no pair, right? All the three nasals together. And then again, third, suz, shj, and there's no pair in l, r, h. They are separate consonants. And finally, church. So most of the consonants occur in pairs because they have most of the phonetic features common. Both place of articulation and manner of articulation are common to them, but they differ in voicing. Okay, right. Yeah, we'll continue this. Kurg, what is kur? Minus or plus? I mean, voiceless or voice?
K voiced. G also voiced.
Both are voiced.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any other different idea from anybody else? Gayani, what about you? No. Okay. Right. We'll continue Yoganandi. It is the other way around actually. Other way around in the sense, you're correct regarding G is voiced, whereas K is voiceless. Well, and then we have third. T, what about that?
T is voiceless and D is voiced.
Correct. And we have f pair. F, voice, less, whereas
Voiceless,
voice.
voiced.
Correct. And now you have these three together, right? Ma together means there's no pair there. Ma, na, nga. Now what can you say about each consonant? All the three belong to one category, right? I'm asking whether it's voiceless or voiced. All the three, which means all the nasals. That's the idea. All the nasals. Nya is not available here because Nya is not they are in international phonetic alphabet. So therefore, it's now familiar to us in our context, Sri Lankan context. So Nya is not there. You have the other three nasals. Mananga. Are they voiceless or voiced? All the three.
Voiced both.
All the three nasals are
Voiced.
voiced. Yes. All three are voiced. And then we have the and the. The voiceless, whereas the voiced. Answer Z. Do you think the same pattern continues? Voiceless, voice. Voiceless, voice. Like that?
S voiceless. Z also voiceless.
No. Z, voice.
Voice.
Right? Like zoo, when you say zombie, zip, Z, voiced. Right. And the next pair, sh and j. Right. Sh, voice, less. And j, voice. And we have l, now separate individual one. There's no pair. L, like leg, link, like, l. What do you think?
L voiced.
Voiceless.
No. L is voiced. Right? And r,
Voiced.
Also voiced. What about her?
Voiceless.
Correct. Her is voiceless. Fine. And we have the last pair now, ch and j. Right. Ch, voice, less,
Voiceless.
ch, voiced. All right. So that's the list. Now, you can easily keep in your mind because now there are pairs I told you, no? In each pair, perba, kaga, tada, perver, and further they are separate, right? The and the, it's one pair. And z, sh, j, and last one, ch. In all these pairs, you can see the same trend, right? The first sound voiceless, the next sound voiced. First sound voiceless, the next one voiced. You can check it with my screen, right? That's it. And so it's quite easy. You don't have to have any effort to remember these things as long as you remember the pairs of these consonants. The first sound in the pair always voiceless, second sound in the pair always voiced. But there are exceptions, right? Exceptions are there with three nasals and these three individual consonants. From these individual consonants, l, both are voiced and her is voiceless, and that's all. Okay, right. And then you have this last set, actually set in the sense last two individual sounds. We don't call them consonants, although I have put them under the consonant list, right? These two are semivowels, w and y. Now we name them semivowels because they have the characteristics of both vowels and consonants. That is why they are called half vowels. Then automatically the other half is coming from consonants. W, y, right? And example like worry. Now, how do you produce these two semivowels? Now, this sound you might confuse with this one, these two, right? Okay, you hear the same sound. You hear the same sound w, but one is a consonant, the other one is a semivowel. And there's a clear difference regarding how you pronounce the consonant and the semivowel. Consonant we say like v, v. I think you can see me. V means we bite the lower lip with the upper teeth. V. Like when we say van, women, even vomit, v. That is consonant. But when we produce this semivowel v, we use both lips, both upper and lower lips, right? And we round them, ooh, like this, w. So that is the lip position when we say the words like worry, when, what. Now, how do you say, what is your name? We don't say, what is your name? No. What is your name? W, when, where, and worry. We round the both lips. And that is how we produce semi-vowel w. Okay, although the sound is similar, the way we produce is totally different between consonant and this semi-vowel. And the second semi-vowel is y, right? Like when you have the initial sound of yellow, y, and yogurt, y. Now, when you think about the production of w and y, you will observe, you also separately can say these two sounds, right? You will observe this airstream, it is not blocked. Do you block the airstream? I don't think so. W, the airstream freely flows through your mouth. W, no blocking. But what does happen? You shape the airstream by using your lips. So it has the qualities of both vowel and consonant. And y also the same, right? The airstream flows freely. We don't block it. Only thing is we shape the airstream by raising our tongue body as close as to the upper part of the mouth, which means the hard palate. Yeah. Yeah. You will understand what I am telling if you produce these two sounds. Okay. Right. So no blocking. But still you shape the airstream. Right. So that's about the two semi-vowels. I think you are now familiar with the consonant sounds as well as the phonetic symbols. Right? Be familiar with both. And now we are going to move on to the place of articulation. I told you earlier when I was introducing the phonetic features to you. In detail, we are going to talk about place of articulation and manner of articulation. So now we have this place of articulation. Both place and manner of articulation are very, very important when we talk about the production of any consonant sound, because every consonant sound has a particular place of articulation as well as a particular manner of articulation. Okay, so whenever I give you a consonant sound, you should be able to know what the place of articulation is and what the manner of articulation is according to these names, right? So we can classify the consonants into, you can find 5 here and 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, this also should be highlighted. 10, right? Okay, well, I will go back and do it. Pharyngeal consonants are also, they should also be in blue color. I might have missed it. Right. Okay. 10 different types of consonants according to where they are produced, which means according to the particular place of articulation. So have an understanding as well as a memory of these different types of consonants. Okay, right. Now we are going to start the list. First one, bilabial consonants. Now, what do you know about bilabial? You need to clearly understand these words, right? You can easily guess actually. Bi means two, labial means lips. So we produce bilabial consonants with the help of two lips, both upper lip and the lower lip. Right? I don't think I should be reading these lines. Okay, you can go through the note, read the lines, and I'm giving you the idea. Okay, right. So examples for bilabial consonants, here you have one example. B. What about this explanation? I think you can understand this line, right? Yeah, when we produce bilabials, the both lips are brought together. But what about the tongue? Tongue is not involved, but remains in the rest position. Yeah, you are resting your tongue. When you say b, where is the tongue? It just lies down inside the mouth, no? Right? Even when you say p, ma, b, your tongue is totally inactive. You don't use, actually, the tongue doesn't move anywhere. It just lies there. So tongue is not important when we talk about bilabials, right? Both upper and lower lips are brought together. They tightly touch to each other and block the airstream, then it's released, right? Okay, we are talking about place, not the manner. So we'll limit our discussion to the particular places only. Bilabials are like that. And you can add the other examples too, right? Here you have only b sound. Now there's a problem in this note. Did you notice something regarding the writing of the phonetic script, phonetic symbols? Actually, instead of these inverted commas, right, there should be these slashes like this. Anyway, don't confuse. Not the inverted commas. Usually we write phonetic symbols within two slashes like this. And I have quoted this part from the module. That may be why these inverted commas are coming. Right. Labiodental. The next category, labiodental. What do you think about that? There also you can understand this word. Labio means lips and dental, teeth. In the production of labiodental consonants, we involve or we use both lips and teeth. But the thing is, we have two sets. No, we have two lips and two sets of teeth. Right? Upper teeth and lower teeth, upper lip and lower lip. In which one is relevant to the production of labiodental? You see, all the time we use lower lip and upper teeth, upper front teeth. And there are two labiodental consonants. One is given here as example, f. The other one is v. Now, for the previous category also, please write down the other bilabial examples. Other than b, we have ma, p, they are also bilabial. And even this semivowel w, but here we are talking about consonant sound. So, no need of writing examples from semivowels. P, b, ma, bilabials. And labiodentals, f and v. Okay, we bite the lower lip with the upper teeth. F, even b, right? The third category, dental. Dental, what is this? Yeah. Dental sounds, there are two dental sounds. These dental sounds are produced when the tip for this blade of the tongue rises and touches the upper teeth. Okay. In that position, when we produce consonants, those consonants are labeled as dental consonants. You have one example here, th, but not the phonetic symbol, right? You can take down, this is one example, th. Th is a dental sound. You can produce this sound physically and identify the place. Your tip of the, rather than the tip, a little bit after the tip area, right, of the tongue, that means blade of the tongue. Blade of the tongue rises and touches the upper teeth. Th. Like when you say thick, thin. And the other dental sound, can you guess? Can anyone of you guess? There are two dental sounds only. One is the other one is the other one in the pair. The and the are the two dental sounds. Okay. Then we have alveolar consonants. Alveolar consonants are produced when we touch the alveolar ridge with the tip of our tongue, right? Tip means the tip area, the top of the tongue. It rises and touches the alveolar ridge, and you have the alveolar ridge soon after, immediately after your upper teeth. After the upper teeth, we have the rough area inside the mouth, and that is called hard palate. And alveolar ridge is located immediately after the upper teeth. Okay, and I will give you a sound so that you can produce it and find out where your alveolar ridge is. L. Yeah, L. Like when you say lake, little, L. Oh, if you are not happy with that sound, there's another example I can give you. N. N. Like when you say not, never, N. You can pronounce these two consonants and find out the alveolar ridge, because when you say these sounds, your tip of the tongue rises and touches the close approximation to the alveolar ridge, means touches the alveolar ridge. Now in English, for native English speakers, there is an alveolar sound. Even ter is an alveolar sound. Okay. Sir, another example for alveolar sounds. Right, number 5, we have a alveolo-palatal, right? Sometimes it's called alveopalatal as well. Now, what is happening there? The front or blade of the tongue is raised to an area between the alveolar ridge and the palate, right? Like when you produce a sound like sh, say this, the symbol I will write, sh. Like when you say shoe, fish, sh sound, alveolo-palatal. Pay attention to the behavior of your tongue, right? How does your tongue raise? Now, there are several parts of the tongue, no? But when we produce sh, sounds like sh, even j, both voice and voiceless. Sh and j, right? The blade means the tip area, the blade, somewhat closer, right? To each other. These two areas of the tongue are rising or they make slight movement, and at the same time front of the tongue, front means the middle part of the tongue, okay, the tongue body, the central part of the tongue is also rising towards the hard palate. There are two things happening, alveolo-palatal, right? One is alveolo, towards the alveolar ridge, the blade of the tongue rises, and at the same time towards the palate, means the hard palate, the front of the tongue or the central part of the tongue rises. That is why we get this name alveolo-palatal. Okay. Two examples. Sh, j, right? Okay. Then number 6, palatal. Palatal consonants. Palatal consonants, they're quite easy to understand, because when we produce some consonants, our front part of the tongue, front means, now don't confuse the middle part, right? Central part of the tongue rises and touches the hard palate there. Okay, touches the hard palate, like the semi-vowel, second semi-vowel y, but that is a semi-vowel. You need to find out some consonants, palatal consonants. One example is ch. Okay, you know this sound. I think I made a mistake, right? Here, this is not the other example. Let me change that. Alveolo-palatal consonants are sh and j, right? Whereas palatal consonants are, again, there are two. One is ch. You need to say these sounds, otherwise you won't understand, right? Only by looking at me or listening to me, you will not understand why so-called sounds are palatal or veal or anything. Right? There are two palatals, ch and ch. Right? When you produce these consonants, front part, the body part of the tongue rises and touches the hard palate. Right, and then we have velar consonants. Velar means the back, right? Actually velar is another name for soft palate. And with the soft palate, we touch the tongue, and there are so many parts of the tongue, no? Tip of the tongue, blade of the tongue, front of the tongue. Now all these parts we discussed, and there's another remaining part, back of the tongue. So when you produce velar consonants, this back of the tongue rises and touches the velum or soft palate, and that is why these consonants get the word velar. Okay, and there are three velar sounds. There are three velar sounds. One is given there, g. And the other two are k, g is there, ng. Try to say these sounds. And you need to feel yourselves the behavior of the tongue, which part of the tongue actually rising and touching which area inside the mouth, the upper part of the mouth. Okay, right. So these three velar sounds are available. Okay, I'll write the also. Right, number 8, uvular. Uvular sounds, there's a particular type of consonants called uvular consonants, but the thing is we are not very familiar with the uvular consonants in our languages. The languages we use do not contain uvular sounds as much, right? What happens is that the back of the tongue touches the uvular. Now talking about velar consonants, the back of the tongue touches the velum. Here the back of the tongue touches the uvula. I don't think we can do it, right? That's possible in our languages, but there are languages where this is possible. So they have uvular consonants, right? And then number 9, pharyngeal. That regarding that also I have to say the same thing because we don't usually use pharyngeal consonants or pharyngeal sounds. Pharyngeal, the word pharyngeal has come from pharynx. Okay, pharynx, and pharynx is the particular area you have in between the larynx and the opening of the oral tract and the nasal tract, the area in between. And people produce sound in this area as well. They are called pharyngeal. Okay, right. So these two are not very much common to us. Like they are not available. These sounds are not available uh, in the languages we use, right? And the last category, glottal. Yeah, glottal consonants are also, actually there's only one example that is not given in the note. Okay, there's one glottal example. This place is this, inside the larynx. To produce glottal consonants, we never use our tongue or lips or palate, nothing, right? Okay, nothing. Because glottal consonant is produced inside the larynx, among the vocal cords. Here, when we say the glottal consonant, the vocal cords, in between the vocal cords, this air stream is passing with a sort of forcefully. Okay, not now. This glottal consonant is a voiceless sound. We don't feel any vocal cord vibration, right? And with the kind of friction, very brief closure is there, with the kind of friction, this sound is produced. What is the example? For glottal consonant. Right. This is the glottal consonant, h. You can see, right? You can feel when you say h, it doesn't involve any speech organ located inside the mouth. Nothing. It is produced inside the larynx, h, with the use of the vocal cords. All right, so these are the 10 different types of consonants we can talk about the place of articulation. Are you clear with these 10 categories? If still you are listening to me. Any doubt? Because I have come to the end of the discussion of place of articulation, and next I have to deal with the manner of articulation. But I don't think I should start manner of articulation now. Okay, Shani.
Madam,
Others? Yeah. Yes,
madam, can you give the examples for alveopalatal?
alveopalatal.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I have written the two examples, sh and z. Like z you find in pleasure, j sound, right? Sh is clear, no? Sh like shoes, sh sound, but j it is voiced than sh, like pleasure, measure. In these words, the last part, the latter part, has this sound, j. Two alveolar palatal sounds. Okay, right. How about the others? I think I have made myself clear, but you were listening very calm and quietly. I don't know whether you have any issue. If yes, please tell me. Otherwise, we now tomorrow also we are meeting, right? Yeah, this is scheduled tomorrow as well. So we can go up to the discussion of manner of articulation of the consonant sounds. Ah, right. Okay. Before that, I forgot this actually, right? You have small work. Now, please check the notes again. You may have this diagram, right? With this list, numbered list from number 1 to 10. It's a simple work you can do. If you have the hard copy only, you can do this, right? Or else if you are using a tab or anything, you can just write down there. There are some arrows here. So mark these 10 types of consonants in the diagram. That's all. You simply need to write the number. Now, for example, here you can see the first arrow here, right? This one. This is the first arrow. And what is the particular number you can write here, taken from the list? Number one, no? Number one is bilabial. You produce bilabial consonants with the help of both lips. And that is what is indicated by this arrow. So number one there. Like that, you can put the relevant numbers near the remaining arrows. Okay, right. Yeah, you just do it now. We have a few in the sense, yeah, 2 minutes, never mind. Do it if you have a hard copy anyway. I don't know otherwise how you are going to do this one. Okay, shall I uh, show the completed diagram? This one. Check your work if you have written. Number one, labiodental. Sorry, bilabial. Number two, labiodental, lower lip and upper teeth, right? And number three, dental, blade of the tongue and the upper teeth. Number four, alveolar, blade of the tongue and alveolar ridge. And number five, alveolar palatal, right? The front of the tongue as well as the tip of the tongue into the palatal region as well as the alveolar ridge. And then number six, palatal, front of the tongue towards the palate clearly. And then number seven, velar, back of the tongue, touching the velum. And number eight, uvular, again back of the tongue touching the uvula, right? Uvula. And number 9, pharyngeal sounds. And number 10 here, down there, you can find inside the larynx. Okay. Well, I hope these places or different places of articulation are correct to you. And tomorrow, we'll start with manner of articulation. All right. Okay. I'm going to stop the discussion now. Let's meet tomorrow then. Okay. Good night, all of you.
Good night, ma'am.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.